Down there, you guys have a certain set of rules you're going to play by?
Yeah, we have, Tui and I are out here. We have Tom Fasalovich, and Tom's going to explain to us exactly what's going to happen out here. We're going to start the game in a few minutes, but Tom, if you step up here and explain to us what's going on. You're with the New York Mutuals?
Right, we're from the New York Mutuals from Long Island, Old Bethpage. We play vintage baseball out on Long Island.
Give us some of the rules with vintage baseball and what's going on.
Well, we play by all different years down there, okay? We play mainly 1860 today we're going to be playing, which is basically no balls, no strikes. Catching the ball on a bounce back then was an out.
Okay. So let's now remember that. You catch the ball on a bounce. If you catch it on the first bounce,
that's correct.
It's considered an out.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
That's one of the rules we're going to play by today.
Right. Correct. Wherever the ball first struck the ground back in 1860 was whether it was fair or foul. Doesn't have to pass first or third like nowadays.
Okay. That's rule number 2.
Okay. The most important thing you're going to notice is no gloves.
No
back
gloves.
in 1860. So
that
that's
sounds like my kind of game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I saw you make that play.
So you have to have soft hands too.
Yeah, you have to catch with soft hands, otherwise you're going to hurt your fingers.
Okay, so is there a certain way that you try and catch the ball?
You try and catch the ball and bring it into your body as you're catching it, so that your hands are relaxed. You bring it in so that you absorb some of the shock from the ball.
Ah, Tui, you think we can do that?
Yeah, we can. Hello, it's us.
Oh, okay, that's right. I'm sorry. Do we have a question from someone? Josh, go right ahead.
Hi.
Speak up, Josh.
Why were the bats heavier, and did the balls go farther because of it?
Why were the bats heavier?
The game was a lot different back then than it is now. It wasn't a long ball type of game. You'd basically you would go for a small hit. A small ball was the way the game was played back then. Home run hitters really didn't. There's no Mark McGuire's back then. It was trying to hit the ball for singles.
Okay, so it was more of a small man's game?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Did the balls go farther?
The balls went basically the same distance, but they really trying to hit singles, not home runs.
All right. Was there another question? Okay, Jeff, we're going to throw it back to you.
Okay, Ozzie, thank you very much. I'm back over.
And to get the game started, Tom, if we can have Tom back in again, we have the mic. Explain exactly how the game gets started.
Well, it was a custom back in this area to start with a bat toss. The custom, as I understand, goes back to town ball. And basically you toss the bat, and whoever ended up with the knob on the top got to choose whether they'd strike first or take the field first.
Okay, well, let's get the game started. Where's the two captains here? I'll toss it to you.
Okay.
Here, let me have there we go. All right, here we go. Okay, and what are your team names?
Okay, we're the Mutuals, New York Mutuals.
And we're the Aussies Wizards.
The Aussies, Wizards, and the Mutuals. So we're about to get the game started. We'll see you guys in a little bit.
Good luck.
Josh, going back to you inside.
Should be below us on the screen, and they're basically a bunch of excerpts about baseball. They know everything, basically, your questions. They're from San Francisco. We have lots of writers, and if you can't get us, then you can email the Bank of Experts.
Okay, we've got a call coming in from New York, so let's take that one now, Lewis. Tiara, go right ahead.
I have a question for Ozzie.
Okay, Tiara, go ahead. What's your question for Ozzie?
Why did he decide to play baseball?
Why did I decide to play baseball? Because I realized that I had pretty good hand and eye coordination, and the thing I excelled in high school was actually basketball, but when I decided to go to college, I had to do some soul searching, and I realized that baseball was really what I loved doing.
Okay, we've got another call from New York. Go right ahead.
Thank you.
Kayla, we're waiting for your question.
Question for Ozzie.
Okay, Kayla, your question for
I
Ozzie.
have a question for Ozzie.
Go right ahead.
Go ahead.
I was wondering how many teams he played on.
Oh, I only played on 2 teams. I started with the San Diego Padres in 1978. I played with them for 4 years, and then the next 15 years I played for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Kayla, thank you for your question. Do we have any more questions coming in on the telephone right now? All right, well, Don't forget, if you have a question and you don't want to get on the phone, you can always email those questions to us and our bank of experts. Just like any other TV program that you're accustomed to watching, we've got some commercials in this one, but these are very different commercials, so let's go to our first break.
All of the clubs put together. After that, now we are able to play with all types of ethnicities. So we see Irish American, African Americans, Native American, Chinese, Asian. We see everything now in baseball.
Oh, all right. That's good, Tui. All right, we got a good game going on down here, guys. Mia, you have a question for me? Mia, can you hear me?
Yes. Ozzie?
Yes, go ahead, Mia.
What was the first Major League Baseball game that you played in?
My first Major League Baseball game was in 1978. I was a rookie for the San Diego Padres back in 1978. All right, we're going to throw it back to Jeff.
Thanks, Ozzie. We're back here with Lewis, and a game going on behind us. I believe the Mutuals are leading Ozzie's Wizards by a score of 2-0. So, Ozzie, you need to rally your troops. We've got Audrey on the line from Massachusetts now with a question. Audrey, go right ahead.
Ozzie, how many home runs have you hit in your entire career?
Ozzie, the question is, how many home runs did you hit in your entire career?
I hit 26 home runs in my entire career.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that question. We got Joe from Missouri. Go ahead, Joe.
How was the size of the ball determined?
Who do you think should get that question, Lewis?
I think we should toss that one up to Tom Schieber in the gallery.
That's a good call. Tom?
About pitching rules. I know there's a lot of changes in pitching rules. Ozzie, what do you have for us down there?
All right, we're going to talk a little bit about the pitching rules, and then we're going to talk about another subject that I really like in the game. You know, baseball is a game of nicknames, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but give us some of the pitching rules in the 19th century.
Well, in 1860, for example, the game we're playing today, the pitcher pitched the ball to the batter 45 feet from home base, and he had to stay behind this 12-foot line here.
Okay, so this line is 12 feet from home plate?
45 feet, 12
from
feet
home plate.
long.
12 feet long. Okay, so you can move anywhere along the line.
As long as you do not cross it when you do pitch the ball.
Okay.
When you get to 1863, they instituted a pitching box, which was 12 feet long by 3 feet wide, and you, in effect, had to only take one step when delivering the ball.
Okay.
In 1867, they made the box 4 feet by 6 feet, and then in 1869, they made it 6 by 6. So the box grew as the pitching changed.
Okay. Is that because pitching became better?
Yes, and they also try to balance out the batters, trying to compensate for the speed of the ball coming in.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Tui. I told you one of my favorite parts of the game is nicknames. Give us some of the nicknames. Like today, you know, my nickname was the Wizard. There was Tim Raines, his name was the Rock, and then there was Andre Dawson, he was the Hawk. Give us some of the nicknames from the 19th century.
Right, on our team specifically?
Yes.
Well, we have Barry the Magnet Aguado plays third base for obvious reasons because he can corral all our balls. We have shortstop today is Sean Strings Ness because of his svelte stature. He's very thin.
Okay.
And center field we have Kid Speed because obviously his speed. And first base is Even Steven Sullivan because it rhymes.
Oh, Even Steven Sullivan. That's pretty good.
Right.
All right. Any more?
Yes, Tom Big Bat Fasalowicz is catching.
Fasalowicz. I love that name. Fasalowicz. What a big league name. Fasalowicz.
Yes, and I'm Eric Express Miklich because when I pitch, I deliver the mail.
Oh, speed. Okay.
That's it.
All right. Great. I guess we'll send it back upstairs.